Welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD podcast brought to you by Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for sponsoring the Educational AD podcast. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. It's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live webcam demo to see their tables and boards in action and see what these fantastic products can do for you. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. I also want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your athletic program. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also give the 95% of the players and parents who love your program a voice and help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then call them at 1-800-738-6466. You can also email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Let them help you take your program from good to great. We also want to thank Varsity Brands, elevating student experiences in sport, spirit, and achievement, and hometown ticketing. Simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD podcast. We're truly talking with an old friend today, Lamarr Glenn. Lamarr is a certified athletic administrator. He was a longtime AD in the state of Florida, but for the past several years, he's been up in Georgia. He's currently the assistant principal and athletic director at South Paulding High School in Georgia. Also very active at the state and national level. He was, the athletic director of the year in Georgia. He's also a member of the NIAAA national teaching faculty. And, we used to teach LTI courses together a long time ago. So Lamarr, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jake, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on with you today.
Well, we're excited to hear, what's happening in your state and at your school, and also catch up on some best practices. So let's jump right in. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you went to college, and how you now end up at South Paulding.
Oh, wow. It's been a journey, but just a guy from a small town, Ormond Beach, Florida, just outside of Daytona Beach. That's where I was born, grew up there. Just like many other ADs, was a student athlete, participated in many sports year round growing up. Football, basketball, baseball was what it was. Had the opportunity to, in high school, to play for some great coaches and some great programs, and I earned a full scholarship to Florida State University. So I played 4-year letterman there at Florida State University, left there as a offensive captain my senior year in 1998. Unfortunately, missed both national championships that Coach Bowden won. I was in between both of those. From there, Jake, it took a while to get into teaching and to get into education. I was a 6th-round draft pick out of college to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. a dream that I wanted to fulfill. But obviously we know the business and everything takes over, and that didn't go as long as I wanted it to. I bounced around, played some arena football, but with support from family and friends, decided in 2003 that I'm going to try my hand at this teaching thing. And I moved to Palm Beach, Florida, and I taught at Lincoln Elementary School, 5th grade, for 2 years, which was interesting, coming straight from the football field to a classroom of 25 5th graders. Never taught a day in my life, but it was fun. That was a part of the process, something that I enjoyed. From there, ended up moving back closer to home to Orlando, Florida, where I taught special ed at Olympia High School. And it was there that I really first kind of got a glimpse of what the AD position was about at the high school level. Watched Kevin Deemer do that position for a year or so, and watched him do just a fabulous job there at Olympia High School. And I was able to be an assistant football coach, assistant track coach there in my first year, and also going into my second year. So halfway through the second year, Jay, to be frank, I had no idea on how I got the AD job to open a brand new school at Wakata. I just had a friend that sent me a listing and said, throw your name in the hat. And I said, are you serious? So that what kind of took me to my AD career.
Well, I'm glad you went through that, because we do get a lot of younger listeners who are maybe aspiring ADs, and they don't realize that it is a path, it is a journey, and sometimes you do throw your name out there in the hat, or you do take that position because somebody said, hey, you should go for this. So very cool stuff.
Yes.
Lamarr, in our profession, we always talk about the importance of leadership, and particularly mentorship. You mentioned Coach Bowden. I'm sure he's going to be on this list, but who are some of your mentors? Maybe family members or coaches or people that you've worked with. You also mentioned Kevin Deemer, a longtime member of our FIAAA board. So who are some of the people that really encouraged you and had an impact on you to get you to where you're at now in our profession?
Well, I'll tell you this, Jake. It starts with my mother. My mother, strong woman. I have one older sibling, one older brother who's actually a teacher and a coach as well. Jake, she always instilled in me that education was key, and that's the number one priority. And she always instilled in me that you could do whatever you put your mind to. So I would have to say she was probably my first mentor. I had some great high school coaches. I played for Rocky Yoakum at Seabreeze High School. Great coach, ran a great football program that instilled some values in me at a young age. And then, as you said, Coach Bobby Bowden, you could not have learned or been under the tutelage of a better coach. That guy was as genuine as they come. He instilled the values, the moral values that you needed. It wasn't about football with Coach Bowden. It was about life. It was about what are you going to become? It was about more of your spiritual journey playing for him. And I would definitely say that he was a great mentor in those critical years there as a young adult. And then once I got into this profession, Jake, there are so many guys that I would call mentors in this profession, and Kevin Deemer being one. He watching Kevin when he was an AD, and then Kevin became the district level AD in Orange County, and definitely I would ring Kevin's phone every hour on the hour as I was opening Wekiva High School, because he had done it before. There weren't many that had done it before, and Kevin was certainly one of those people. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention Trish Highland. Trish Highland was definitely a mentor, and she's been a mentor to many in the state of Florida and throughout the nation. But Trish, her mentorship in athletic administration was so great upon me because it helped me to get involved early. In that way, I mean, I got to meet guys like you, Jake, who's definitely a mentor. Just being able to teach class with you and learn some things from you, that was huge. That was huge for me. But I mean, Russell Wombles. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of great mentors in this AD profession.
And again, just hearing the common paths, Trish, to people in Florida, everyone knows the name Trish Hyland. She had kind of moved on by the time I got involved with FIAAA. But Kevin and Russell were, I think they were in the first LTI course that I took, and have become to this day, great friends and, as you say, mentors. And appreciate that shout out too.
Yes.
Lamarr, we mentioned earlier that you are a certified athletic administrator, and also a member of the NIAAA National Teaching Faculty. Those things just don't happen overnight. So walk us through, again, for our younger listeners and older listeners, how that came about, how you became aware of the LTI program and the certification, and now that you're a member of the national faculty. How did all those things develop?
So it goes back, like I said, I became an AD in 2007. January of 2007, I started opening up Wekiva High School there in Apopka, Florida. And at that time, Trish Hyland was our district level AD. Kevin Deemer was the assistant county athletic director. And with both of them, the first thing that they came to me with in the midst of opening is, Lamarr, you've got to get involved. You got to go to the state conference and you got to go to the national conference. And that was a big push in our school district at the time, was you need to get involved in these because this is where you're going to learn. This is where you're going to build relationships. You're going to learn the most. And from 2007 on is when I started taking my first LTI courses at the national and at the state level. As I'm sitting there and I'm learning so much. And that was back when we would get the books with the CD in them. I mean, it was just a boatload of information that you could take back to your school, and most of the instructors would give you a business card or they'd give you their contact information. And so it was so awesome to be able to stay in contact with everybody. If you had questions after the conference, hey, send them an email. They may send you a template that they use. They may send you so many things. So it's just a wealth of knowledge that's out there in this cloud that a lot of our younger ADs may not know about, and even some of our older ADs may not know about. But my path to getting that was a big push and support from Trish Hyland, Kevin Deemer, and my principal at the time, Dr. Gruber at Wekiva, would allow me to be involved in those things and go to these different conferences in order to develop professionally. But I think it is of vital importance. And as I grew and got here to Georgia, it was second nature. Let's find out about the Georgia AD Association. Let's find out where we fit in. And while I was here, still having relationships in Florida and different things, and Lannis Robinson, Andy Childs, they still push me and say, Lamarr, get involved. And so when there was an opening to teach 608, my name came up, and I didn't bat an eye. I said, yeah, let's do it. And I've been doing it at 608 at the national conference for the last 4 years. I think it's been 4 or 5 years, maybe. And so it's just been great, a great experience, because each time I teach that class, and since COVID here, we've been doing the online classes. I've been doing 2 a year. And so it's been great because we have so many great ADs around the country, and I'm learning from those that are taking the course. I'm learning just as much as they are. So that was kind of my journey and my path. And I also had an opportunity to serve on the NIAAA Awards Committee. and so that's always fun, to be able to serve and be there with the award recipients at the national conference, which, you know, if you're winning an award at that national level, that means you're the best of the best, you're the cream of the crop. And to be able to just talk with some of those folks, it's always good.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, you know, about the awards. You know, serving on NIAAA committees, that starts with you as an individual filling out that form at nationals. Hey, I'd like to volunteer to be in a committee, and you know, that's how your name gets in there. So just another example of being proactive. You know, great stuff. We were visiting with Lamarr Glenn, certified athletic administrator, and the assistant principal and AD at South Paulding High School in Douglasville, Georgia. We're going to be right back, but let's hear a quick message from our podcast sponsor, Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and experience you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for sponsoring the Educational AD podcast. We're back with our interview with Lamarr Glenn, certified athletic administrator and assistant principal AD, South Paulding High School in Georgia. Lamarr, one of the things we try to do with the podcast is this idea of sharing best practices. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What are a couple of things that you do at your school, or maybe you've seen in Georgia or Florida, that you're particularly proud of, that when you look at it, you can say, boy, you know, these are really best practices? Do you have anything you can share with us?
When we talk about best practice, I think the one thing that I pride myself on, and especially here at South Paulding High School, is ensuring that our students have the best athletic experience that they possibly can. And the way we do that is we provide as much information as possible to parents and families, you know, via email, via Twitter, all social media outlets. I think that's one of our best practices, is that we're so involved as far as getting the word out about the opportunities that are here at our school. I would say another one of our best practices that goes along with that, Jake, is multi-sport participation. Surveys to our students, coaches, all stakeholders, just trying to figure out the things that our students want to participate in and are really interested in. And then from there, we encourage them to be involved in multiple sports. And that's through any means necessary. That's word of mouth. That's getting those kids on the cross country team to speak with those girls on the girls basketball team, or on the boys basketball team. So I think those are two of our best practices here, that I kind of hang my hat on. And just let me say one more. I would venture to say one of our best practices is making sure our fans have a great experience at our venues. And we really pride ourselves on trying to be the best host that we can to our visiting schools, to our fans, to make sure everything that they need and want is here at South Paulding when they come on campus.
You know, I'm so glad that you shared that, you know, your first one, you know, making sure the student athletes have a great experience, and then you wrap that up with the fans and the parents. You know, I spent probably the last 25 years of my career at the private school level, and I would dare say that's kind of a private school approach, you know, really, you know, catering to the customer. And it's great to see that, you know, from a public school. And I know a lot of other ADs do the same thing, but it's great that you could share that, that, you know, hey, we're trying to make a great experience for these kids, and by extension, their parents. You know, great stuff.
Right.
We're visiting with Lamarr Glenn, certified athletic administrator at South Paulding High School. We'll be back, but we're going to take one more break and talk about one of our great podcast sponsors. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive whose score tables and video boards are in our gym at the McClay School in Tallahassee. It's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call them at 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo to see their tables and boards in action and see what these fantastic products can do for you. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. We're back visiting with Lamarr Glenn, certified athletic administrator. Lamarr, another question that we've been asking our athletic directors, and for our listeners, we're recording this on August 31st, so it's going to be pretty timely by the time you hear it. One of the questions is, how can an athletic director do a better job of being socially aware? How can we do better for our students, our community? And I guess that would include, the social emotional health. How can we do a better job in these areas that many of us are not trained to do?
Well, it's the first one is very basic. Listen and observe. The look, listen, learn is probably the most important, and that is for all stakeholders, for us to look, listen, and learn from our students, because they're a major stakeholder in what we do each and every day. They are the priority and why we do what we do. Our administration here at the school, observe, listen, look, observe what and how they feel about different things. What's the approach? Talk with your principal. That relationship has to be key. And so in that, I would say definitely look, listen, learn, observe, know your campus, know what gets them to tick, I guess, so to speak, what lights that fire. For example, just something very simple. We had in Georgia now has sanctioned girls flag football, and they've sanctioned bass fishing. Well, when I brought up bass fishing here at South Paulding, I mean, you could see the temperature rise. These kids are like, yes, let's go. So I would definitely say listen and observe. The next thing is, as far as doing a better job as an AD, is to definitely get involved. And when I say get involved, that means get involved with your students, get involved with the booster clubs, get involved with the coaching staffs. If you've got to stop by meetings, coaches meetings, you've got to stop by parent meetings, you have to get involved, because so that you can know the pulse, you can know what's going on. And I think in the midst of that, you become more socially aware of what's being said outside of these four walls and outside of your football stadium and your gym. You start to venture out to hear the opinions and the thoughts of others. That way, hey, you can, what my mom used to say long ago, you got to know how to eat the fish and spit out the bones. And so you learn some good things when you become more socially aware. Obviously, Jake, I follow you on Twitter. There are so many amazing ADs giving so much amazing information just on social media. And so you become more socially aware of what's going on. But I think nothing takes the place of reading, obviously. That's why I do have my copy of the AD toolbox. But those are the things that I think would allow you to do a better job as an AD, becoming socially aware, knowing what's going on outside of your building, what makes your school community tick, what's going to actually tick them off. So all that is important when you're talking about doing a better job as an AD, but also finding that balance for our kids that are everything is social media is everything to them. And it's pretty much how they run their lives, through social media and text messages. So you have to, in some ways, ditch the old school approach when it comes to our kids. But I do hold on dearly to some of those older values, some of those older coaching values, and some things that I'm just like, no, we cannot bend from this. And because this is one of those things that's going to last and stay, And so my thing is, as an AD, be deliberate, be intentional, and be consistent. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that last part about, the values don't change. How we teach and get those values across to another generation, those techniques might change, just like they do in coaching. Great stuff. Okay. Once again, we're visiting with Lamarr Glenn, Certified Athletic Administrator and the Assistant Principal and AD at South Paulding High School in Douglasville, Georgia. We're going to take one final break, and then we'll be back with the Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack Athletic Directors Toolbox. We'll be right back. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Directors Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives the 95% of the players and parents who actually love your program a voice, and helps demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466 or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. That's info@athleticsurveys.com. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Let them help you take your program from good to great. Well, Lamarr, this has just been really cool, reconnecting with you and finding out what's going on up in Georgia, but we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack Athletic Director Toolbox. We've established that you're an experienced, award-winning athletic director. But right now, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 things in their toolbox. What 3 items are going to go in Lamarr Glenn's Athletic Surveys toolbox?
Wow. Okay. 3 things. I would start with number 1, prioritize the job. Okay. And what I mean by that is, understand that it is your career, but it's not the most important thing in your life. So I would say prioritize the job. And even in that, just to break it down a little more, everything that comes across your desk is not an emergency. Every voicemail you get is not an emergency. So you have to prioritize the job. You have to prioritize your task. So I would definitely have a couple of different files, and you've got your red items that are definite emergencies. You've got your yellow that's maybe moderate. They're important, but don't need to be addressed right then. And then you may have your blue or whatever that are long-term things that are things that you can take some time to work on. But definitely prioritize the job. I would say another important thing for the toolbox is say no. It is okay to say no. It's okay to not take on everything that everybody comes to you with. Because you being the AD, a lot of times you may be over facilities, you may be over safety, you may be over textbooks. I don't know, whatever it is. But you're going to get 1,000 emails and 1,000 offers to do something. And you've got vendors to worry about. You've got coaches to worry about. You've got parents to worry about. You can't do it all. So I would definitely say, learn to say no. That's a good word in our profession. And And lastly, I would definitely say take time for yourself. You have to know how to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you will not last in this profession. I promise you, you will burn out very, very quickly because there are so many late nights. There's so many events. There's so many emails. There's so many of everything that comes your way. And if you don't learn to take time out for yourself and turn the cell phone off, or you may need to just take the email off of your cell phone and only answer when you're on your laptop or at your desk. That may be what you have to do, but you've got to take time for yourself, put yourself number one, and that way you will definitely be able to last in this profession.
Yeah, I really love that last one. Don't answer those emails that come in at 10:30 at night. Nothing
Yes.
ever good came out of those. Okay?
Yes.
Lamarr, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Oh, yes, you can definitely email me here. It's lglenn@paulding.k12.ga.us. I can be reached there. You can reach me via cell phone. I'll give you my cell phone number. That's 678-614-4092. I usually have that with me, but I'm an open book. Any tools, any assistance that I can help or give to anybody, young AD, older AD, it doesn't matter. I will do my best. Like I said, I've had some great mentors, and I'd be remiss not to mention a couple here in Georgia that have definitely helped me with my career. And one is Carter Wilson. He's retired AD over from Decatur High School, Decatur City Schools. Carter definitely embraced me when I came to Georgia, was always a listening ear, and still is. Johnny Seabrooks, County AD down in Dougherty County. Stephen Kraft, who's Fulton County AD. They gave me an opportunity in Fulton County to come up. A great friend of mine. So it's just so many great people here. And like I said, I miss my folks in Florida, but anybody that wants to reach out to me, you have my email, you have my cell phone, don't hesitate to do so.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing those. And I'm going to bet they're probably up on the NIAAA portal too. So check that out. Lamarr Glenn, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. All the best as we get ready to jump back into 2021 here.
All right. Thank you, Jake. It was a pleasure.
For listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back again next time for another episode of the Educational AD.